Adventure Time brought humor, action, and a sense of epicness to Cartoon Network. Who doesn't love a story about a boy and a shape-shifting, talking dog who happens to live in a post-apocalyptic fantasy land named Ooh, ruled by a princess by the name of Princess Bubblegum? For fans of Adventure Time, this sounds like a plot built for success. Shockingly, to everyone else's dismay, they would be correct in assuming that this would be a groundbreaking, award-winning show for Cartoon Network, bringing in as many as 3 million viewers per episode. Not to mention overwhelmingly positive reviews by critics and fans alike, thus garnering in a groundswell of support that only the upper echelon of cartoons have ever achieved. In this list, we will be showing you the 10 best episodes from Adventure Time here on Flick Central. Number 10, Elements Part 4, Cloudy. In their quest to obtain the 4 elemental gems, Finn and Jake travel to the Slime Kingdom in an attempt to retrieve the Slime Princess's gem. The episode goes in depth about Finn's feelings of regret, believing himself responsible for Ooh's current state. This is followed by Jake revealing his feelings of anxiety as his attempt to be strong for Finn has left him unable to deal with his demons, leaving him feeling overwhelmed. This therapy session in the form of getting a haircut relaxes both of them, allowing them to connect and move forward in their adventure. Number 9, Catch Up. One of the more interesting details about Adventure Time is all the references made to various other shows, movies, and books. This breaking of the fourth wall allows for storytelling that is outside of the show's characters' perspective of their own world, floating effortlessly towards pop culture happenings in our own. 2 of these references occur during Marceline's story in the episode Catch Up, where she references Mordecai the Blue Jay from regular show and the term grok, that is a familiar term used in the cult science fiction novel Stranger in a Strange Land. Number 8, Happy Warrior. One of the few episodes in the series where Jake is absent for the entire episode, resulting in Finn having to continue his journey without his trusted companion. His grief and anger about the assimilation of Jake into the Slime Princess in the previous episode plays a key role in his outward hostility throughout. Also in this episode, Lumpy Space Princess foreshadows a future plot point when she mentions that she has traveled to the 4 zones and not one time has she ever been scratched. This, of course, refers to her anti-elemental manifestations materializing. Number 7, Hero Heart. With a full-blown war between the elements on their hands, the Kingdom of Ooh's fate appears dim, especially since Finn has let his anger consume him. Turning against his allies, he rages against anyone in his path. He is only brought back to his normal self during a series of flashbacks that show moments from various episodes showcasing happier times. The episode concludes when Princess Bubblegum sings Let Me Call You Sweetheart, turning all the fire people into candy and causing the Flame Princess to barf up the jewel. Number 6, Skyhooks. Skyhooks is probably the only episode in the history of television to make everything turning to candy be something eerie and horrifying. Season 9 is when the show started to show cracks in viewership, as the first episode of the season had lower ratings than at the same time during Season 8. The episode Skyhooks is the first part of the Elements miniseries that it returned the show to its roots, resulting in a rise of viewership in key demographic areas that boosted ratings for the rest of the season. Number 5, Winterlight. One of the more memorable and cheesiest moments in the episode is when Finn says Snow Golem, Ice Clops, Ice to meet you, which is a reference to something said in the original animated short that started the Adventure Time series. During this episode, the characters confront Patience the Ice Elemental, who is responsible for releasing the elements, resulting in various lands being out of balance. Now that the group knows who is responsible for the strange happenings that have occurred, they prepare a plan on how to stop the elements before it's too late. Number 4, Bespoken 4. The 3rd episode of the 9th season revolves around a central theme of change. Betty has done everything to help the Ice King remember his past as Simon. She even recreated dinner at one of their favorite restaurants, but the Ice King was indifferent to the situation as he didn't recall the feelings he once had for the place. After her dinner plans fall apart, Betty is at a loss until Manticore reminds her that she has changed along with the Ice King and she either has to accept him for who he is now or let him go. Number 3, Whispers. Is a whisper monster really on the loose? Or is it just the frightened imagination of Sweet Pea? An episode where Finn is confronted by an old nemesis, just not in the form he expected. Turns out the whispering monster is the Lich's hand. Nightmares are confronted and a hand monster is slain, while Fern contemplates that life would be better if he was Finn. Fern's ability to transform into a being similar to how Finn looks foreshadows later events that take place in a future episode. This transformation takes place after Fern feels useless compared to Finn. Number 2, Skyhooks 2. Jake's absence and the effects it has on Finn's behavior were critical plot points during the Elements miniseries. Luckily for Finn, Jake makes his first appearance since episode 6 in Skyhooks 2. Although he does not necessarily return as himself, as he is now stuck appearing in a form that resembles his shapeshifter parent. One other notable fact that appears in the episode is just how the land of Ooh resembles a bird with its head being none other than the Ice Kingdom. Whether the characters realize this peculiar fact is never shown, though it is implied. Number 1, 3 buckets. During the season 9 finale of Adventure Time, Fern attempts to be the new Finn after he locks the original in a ziggurat temple. When Finn escapes, Fern tells him that he has been Finn long enough and that he should give someone else a turn. Not wanting to hurt Fern but unable to talk him out of his plan, Finn uses his weed whacker hand to carve up his former friend. The plot of the story seeks to emphasize that a person should be content in who they are instead of trying to be like someone else.